This is a Madman production.
YouTube. This is Steven from Madman Music. This is how to make a trap beat in Garageband, the drums, and the infamous 808s. Alright, so let me solo my drum track. This is my drum track. Drum track. So it doesn't sound all that great by itself. As you see, I got some fast hi-hats, and then it slows down, then it goes into some triplets, and then it goes back into the fast hi-hats. Right? If you want to know how I made those fast hi-hats, I just zoomed in and then kind of squeezed together. As you can see, they're not exactly even. You know, I got a big space, a little space, and then no space. But because it plays so fast that you can't really tell the difference. All right. You notice that I'm using claps instead of a snare. And you can use both if you want. But to me, I feel like one always muddles up the next. So if I use both at the same time, for instance, so it just, to me, it just doesn't sound all that great. But it's been done, and it can sound good. Just I don't mess with the EQs way too much. All right. And you got to have your fast hi-hats. One mistake I see a lot of people is doing too much. You can't have a fast hi-hat with like a snare roll. I like to make my drums out to as if a human could really play it on a drum kit. So this drum beat can be easily played by someone playing the drums. All right. CJ Beats has a really good drum tutorial for Logic, which kind of applies to GarageBand people. It's Logic and GarageBand is kind of the same. It doesn't have as much stuff in it. All right, I'm using a stock sound electro bump. Boutique 808 is really good. Trapdoor is really good. But I wanted to make something different because I use Boutique 808 in almost all my songs. So I wanted to do something a little bit different. So let's listen to how the drum track sounds with everything else going on. Yeah, it sounds okay. It's nothing to brag home to your mama about, but it's not going to be dropping panties in the club. Maybe, I don't know, but it sounds decent, especially for someone who hasn't been doing this very long like me, or at least I think so. What the fuck do I know? But I wanted to make a video that was for people who were new to it, not someone who's been making music for a long time or something. So let's get into the bass. So I'm using this 808. So let's listen to it. Let's solo it out. So that's my 808. It's nothing fancy. If you listen to like Drake's Jumpman, he has a really intricate 808 line that glides up and glides down. It's really cool. And I've done that in some songs, but this one I wanted to kind of let it breathe. Okay, you don't want a song that's bass. It's just constant bass all the way through because it's going to kind of take away from everything else. So I wanted the bass to breathe a little bit. So I have some pauses in between the notes. Okay. And I didn't want the constant one tone. So the tone changes up a little bit. Actually, not very much at all, just one note. Oh, three notes, I should say. Okay, so if you want to know how to get 808s in GarageBand using stock sounds, the Boutique 808, you want to go to your volume knob under controls, and you want to crank that synth bass knob all the way up at a very minimum. Okay, then we'll go to the piano. So you hit in, piano roll, And then under octaves, C4. Oops, sorry. All right, and that's the stock 808, if that even is an 808. It sounds okay. I have a sub in my truck, and it sounds okay. It bumps, but you can't glide it. It doesn't play very long. Like, listen to the note. It doesn't play for very long, so you constantly have to make the notes go, and then it just kind of, it sounds like a really like overzealous kick drum. Okay, which is another, brings me back to my drums. You notice I don't have a kick. Gosh dang it. Sorry. I don't have a kick in my drum pattern because I use my 808 as a kick. Okay, you can use both, but to me, it just kind of muddles it up. Okay, the way I got this 808 was through a VST. Most of these instruments I use is through a VST because GarageBand sucks. Sucks. But it's free. Okay, it's a free program, so who am I to complain? All right, Logic costs $200, but you get so much cool shit. It's unbelievable. And as soon as I can talk my wife into letting me spend $200 on a program, then I will get Logic. But until then, I use GarageBand. Okay, so let's listen to the 808s, the drums, and the melody, and see how it sounds. So it's cool. It does the job, and the drum pattern just kind of repeats. The only thing I changed was in the very beginning, I took out the fast hi-hats because I wanted to kind of build it up, build my drums, and then boom, I got my fast hi-hats playing. Okay, and that's pretty much it. You can use kind of any 808. There's a ton of VSTs that have 808s in them. It's like a staple in today's music. And there's all different kinds of 808s. You can have clean, you can have boomy, you can have distorted. But I use this one because it kind of sounds like a bass, almost like a bass drop, honestly, if you listen to it. See how it kind of trails off at the end of the note? And I thought that was a little bit different. Okay, so that's it for today. And then next we'll get into effects.